Hi. Welcome to Mt Hutt Forest. It is so hot. Honestly, I'm sweltering. Indi and I are out tonight for an overnight hike and camp, and my quest today is to go and find somewhere to camp down by a river where we can have a swim. It's the middle of summer in New Zealand. It's late January, and when most New Zealanders think of Mt Hutt, they think of skiing, because just over that ridge over there is Mt Hutt ski field. We're out here to head up Pudding Hill Stream. We're about to drop down to the river, and then we'll follow it all the way up as far as we need to go to find a spot to camp. There's no designated camping spots along Pudding Hill Stream, so you just need an adventurous spirit and a willingness to compromise in case you can't find what you're looking for. I have got a brand new tent with me, not just brand new to me, but actually pretty much brand new to the market. I have got the Pomoly Open Vista 2. It's a hot tent, which I don't particularly like the sound of right now as I'm standing here in the middle of summer. But what I love in a hot tent is a tent that you can use all through the year, and the Open Vista is suitable for using all through the year, whether it's summer or winter. We are going to have some sunshine in the afternoon, and then it's going to turn to rain and it's going to get quite windy. Perfect conditions to put the Open Vista through its paces. But right now I've got to get my paces going and make my way down to Pudding Hill Stream, and then we'll see if we can find a spot to have a swim. Again. The sandflies here are relentless. I've got my Flextail Tiny Repel, so I'm going to put that on. Oh, I know, they're annoying, aren't they, Indi? So here it is. Pomoly Open Vista 2-person hot tent. bag is quite big, and as with every single tent bag that I own, I've cinched this one down to make it smaller. I really wish that tent companies would give you a bag that compresses the tent, because space in your pack is so vital when you are backpacking. So in here we have the inner and the outer. I've attached them together to make them easier to put up. It's a whole lot bigger than I remember it being in my backyard. So unfortunately, as you can see, the poles are already bent. I set this tent up on a windy day in my backyard, and just to get the poles into the sleeves, I had to use so much force that they bent. So I don't know what to say. I mean, the only time the poles on my other tents have bent is after heavy snowfall. So yeah, I'm not sure what to think. First time using the tent bent poles, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's okay that the poles have got a natural bend in them if that's the shape of the tent. I don't know if you can tell, the camera might have gone really dark. It is about to pour with rain, I can just tell. I'm going to need to hurry, and otherwise I'm going to get drenched. Woo! You can see the mist and cloud and wind rolling up the river. The rain is on its way. It's going to hit any second. Hello, are you comfortably in the tent? So there's the inside of the tent. It's lovely and roomy for two people, so Indi and I are going to be super cozy in here. So, as I mentioned, it's actually really hard to see because everything's black. It's really, really dark in here, especially under the trees and with the rain clouds so low. But the floor of the tent is really thin, so imagine how thin, I don't know, not quite how thin the outside of your tent is, but really close. I honestly don't think that I will be able to trust this floor not to let water through, so we'll have to see how that goes on another trip when the ground is already wet. Really fortunate that the ground is nice and dry that I've set up on. Even though it's going to rain, I probably won't get any moisture underneath the tent. But I'm often setting my tent up on ground that's already wet, and that's when having a really good quality bathtub floor is really important. But hey, first time using the tent, I am not going to give my final judgment on it until I've used it, because the proof is in the use. Keep thinking it's about to rain, but we've just got this heavy mist rolling through the valley. So it's that feeling like it's about to dump down at any second, but not yet. So I'm going to make the most of it. I've got everything set up. I've put all of my sleeping stuff and kitchen stuff inside the tent and packed my pack away, which is empty now. And I think I'm going to go for another swim. It's going to be more like a wash, I suppose. I'm going to wash all the sunscreen and insect repellent off me, and then I'll come back and get into my long sleeve clothes and make a cup of tea. I am dying for a hot cup of tea. Hello, are you going to come for another swim? Oh, that feels so good. There's nothing quite like a really nice, cold, fresh wash when you've been hiking. Just leaves your skin feeling all tingly and fresh. It's amazing. I don't normally get to do it because I'm often camping in miserable weather. And I mean, it's not sunny now, but it's still quite warm. Lovely. Alright, this girl has been waiting patiently, so I'm going to give her a treat. Did you want a treat? Hey, thank you to my Buy Me a Coffee and YouTube Super Thanks donors. Specifically, my Buy Me a Coffee money goes towards buying, not coffees, sometimes coffees, treats. Either edible treats for Indi or I, or camping treats. Are you ready? Before she dribbles all over my sock, I better give it to her. So thank you so much. The other thing that my Buy Me a Coffee money has been spent on this month is I have bought myself a really nice camping treat, which is a big moon chair for when I do car camps. So when I'm camping from the side of my car, I have got a decent seat, because if any of you guys have watched my videos where I'm camping alongside my car, I've got this horrible old camping chair that I've had for years and years, and the bottom of it has thinned out so much that every time I sit on it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to fall through the middle. So thank you so much, I really appreciate it. My Buy Me a Coffee members, there's 18 of you guys, and I don't name you every single time, but you know how much I appreciate you. You do get the monthly newsletter, so I email my Buy Me a Coffee members once a month to tell you guys what I've spent the money on, and you know, to say thank you, and sometimes I'll tag you in on a little extra video or something just as a special thanks. I'm going to give them all to her. There's just a couple of scraps left. Come here. Sit. Lie down. Good girl. Bang. Can you do it for me? Bang. Bang. She does bang and roll over for my daughter, but not for me. Come. Lie down. Good girl. Come. Good girl. You're so cute. Yes, you are. I'm not going to make you do more tricks. There you go. She is just the best camping companion. Thank you. She's just the best camping companion. Yeah. She's a little bit wet. She went in the river when I went and had my wash. But I've got 2 towels, so I'll dry her off before bedtime. And I have got your raincoat. If it actually starts to rain, I'll put it on there. But it's literally just drizzling. I can see a couple of little drips, and I'm just going to make the most of it and sit out here. In fact, I'm going to make a cup of tea, and then I'm going to move over there so we can look down the valley, down the river. It's quite a good place for him. She wants me to play stick. Got like a 3-meter drop off there. I'm not going to play stick. No. Sticks are for another time. Lie down. How about some dinner for you and a wine for me? Sounds like a good deal. The only thing is, I have just filled your bowl with water. I'll put it in here, and then I can put it back in your bowl after. Cheers! Okay, so I have browned some mince in a little bit of olive oil, and then prior to that I softened some onions and mushrooms and chopped up a tomato. So I'm going to add those in a moment, but first I've got a whole lot of spices in here. Salt, pepper, paprika, rosemary, oregano, basil. I think that's all. Oh, that smells amazing. Amazing. I just love cooking camp food from scratch. It just takes a little bit of preparation. So I mean, I didn't chop up the onion and mushroom and tomato before I came out because I just couldn't be bothered. It's very easy to do. But often I'll just pre-chop everything, have all the right amount of herbs. I've got little containers with, like, I've got jalapenos and sour cream and cheese, and my olive oil, basil pesto. If you've got everything in little snap-lock bags or containers, you can just throw it all into your meal. So good. Feels so gourmet to cook something from scratch in the outdoors. So if you haven't already guessed, I'm making nachos for dinner. My interpretation of nachos, I'm not sure how they're done properly, but that's how I like them. Oh, yum, Indi, this wine was amazing. So tasty. So tasty. So the Openvista is a hot tent, as I mentioned earlier. And over here, up on the roof, you can see the panel where the stove goes through. So you cut a hole in that, and then there's a flap on the outside, obviously, that you fold back. So you've got this lovely big area here for the stove, and then it vents through there, so you can actually close those. I'll go around and show you. So you can have this open or closed, but as it's not raining right now, I've got it open, which gives you more light and ventilation. But obviously in the snow or the rain, you close that down. And then up here is where the chimney goes, or the stove, through there. I'm actually really looking forward to using this tent in the winter. I've got a stove for it as well. But I obviously can't use that until winter time. It's just, we've actually got a fire ban in Canterbury at the moment. It's the middle of summer, there's been a few fires. It's, yeah, I don't have to tell you, we just can't have fires. But I'm really looking forward to trying it in the middle of winter, especially in the snow. So one of the things I really like about this tent is these two openings on the side. It's going to be interesting to see, because when it rains, and it was raining when I tried it in my backyard, and actually now, even though I'm sitting out here, it's drizzling, so I can see a little pattern of drizzle on the ground sheet that I've got here. So you can see obviously the rain is going to fall just inside there. I don't think it'll get inside the sleeping area. So I think, you know, you get about this much of your vestibule space gets wet on either side when you've got these open. But that's not the end of the world. You've got this lovely big area out the front. So if you've got the fire there, obviously a lot of that is taken up, and then probably on the left and right you're going to have firewood. Maybe one side you'll have, of these two vestibules, you'll have the door down with your pack against that side. And then what you can do here, I'll just take this off. You can actually peg this out, use your trekking pole. Mine's on the other side of the tent, so I won't bother getting it out to show you, but you get the idea. Use your trekking poles, or find yourself a nice branch if you're in a woodland, and you can put that up as a bit of cover. So I think this tent has a lot of promise. It's 3.18, I think I worked out, kilograms. So it's not super light, but when you think about how big this area is, you've got a really nice big two-person sleeping space, plus this huge vestibule. If you're using it in the summertime, you've got this whole area here to cook in, sit in, have your gear, and then you can even, you know, have these sides out for a little bit more cover. So, considering how much space you have, I think 3.18 kgs is fine. I mean, it is, obviously, it's a toss-up. It's not super light, but then it's not the kind of tent that you're taking if you are going to the top of some huge mountain and wanting to do an ultralight camp. Right. I think I'm probably going to just get away with eating my dinner out here, and then I'm going to have to retreat into the tent. So I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. Just raining ever so lightly. It's actually quite nice just lying out here. Just thinking about all those little things that are recommended, like if you're not feeling great, you know, people will say make a warm cup of tea, or go and pet a dog, or go for a cold swim, stand out in the rain, listen to a river, cook a good healthy meal, go Go forest bathing. Spend some time on your own. Connect with the ground. Do some exercise, move your body. Go to sleep early. You get to do them all. I remember when I did an Outward Bound course, it was ages ago. 9 years ago I did an Outward Bound course and it was amazing. I highly recommend it. I was in my late 30s when I did it, and no age is too old. The oldest person in my watch, which is like the group of people that I was with, the oldest person was 70. So there is no age limit. But I remember we talked about, like, what is it about Outward Bound that really works, like really helps you to, you know, just reset yourself in life. And I mean, they've got an amazing like combination of things going, so they've got a secret formula that really works. But some of the things I just like, working your body hard, getting a good night's sleep, hanging out with other people, having shared objectives, swimming in the cold sea, going for a run, eating a hearty meal, all these little things, they add up together to make you feel really good. Adventure therapy. It's that idea that pushing yourself a little bit beyond your limits and spending time in nature, especially with others. I mean, I'm not here with others, but I'm here with Indi. It's really, really good for you. Really good.
Hello, are you on my sleeping bag? I hope you're not wet or muddy. I hope you're not wet or muddy. Why are you on my sleeping bag? What's wrong with yours?
What's wrong with your sleeping bag?
You're not as cozy. Not as cozy. Alright. It's nice in here, isn't it? Ooh, we've got the pitter-patter of the rain. Morning. I had a pretty good sleep last night. Just the usual waking up to get comfortable. The mat that I'm sleeping on is the Flextail RO2, and I find it a nice, comfortable, lightweight mat for summer and just going into spring, autumn. It's not warm enough for the middle of winter, in my opinion. The only mat that I use in the middle of winter is my X-Bed down mat. That's amazing. So comfortable, so warm. But this Flextail one's lighter, so it's a nice one to take in summer. So it actually did rain quite hard last night, about 10 p.m, just after I'd gone to bed. I was just lying there and boom, down came the rain, and it was lovely because the wind came as well, which meant every now and then there'd be a wind gust and a whole dump of rain would come down off the trees. It was quite fun. So it was an absolute dream going off to sleep last night, because I love going to sleep with the sound of rain on a tent. And I had it for real. The tent inside stayed perfectly dry. When I pack it up and I've pulled all my gear out, I'll have a look right into all the corners and see how the floor performed, but from what I can tell, there was no drips coming in. And I have to say, I rather love it. What I love about it is this huge vestibule space. I mean, that was a game changer for me yesterday. I didn't have to bother putting the tarp up, and I did bring a little rain tarp so that I could sit out here if it rained. But when it started to rain last night, I just sat inside and I could sit up, like it's tall enough that you can sit up. I don't know if you're really tall, what it would be like, but yeah, certainly I could sit in there quite easily. Made myself a cup of tea before I went off to bed. Got lots of room for all my gear. Could get changed in there. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. You have to watch after it's been raining when you unzip the vestibules, because of the angle on the side. As you unzip it, all the water wants to like run in, so you just got to watch that. Kind of flick the vestibule doors off, and then when you roll them up, just watch that all the drips don't come down on your gear. What else can I say about it? I think it's a really nice, practical, functional tent for two people. Space-wise, it narrows off quite a lot down by the foot end, so there's not a lot of room down that end. I think to have 2 people in there, you probably need to have tapered mats. But if you're interested in the tent, check it out on their website first, have a look at the dimensions, because I'm not 100% sure. It was great for Indi and I, and I can imagine it would be fine for 2 people sleeping in there, but you're not going to get a huge amount of room. But it's made up for it in the vestibule because you can store all your gear here. That being said, I did have that issue with the mouse coming in and nibbling my food bag. So the big vestibule is amazing, but you're probably going to need to bring your food in with you. Although if I'm speaking to people that live in bear country, they're thinking, oh no, my food is far away up a tree somewhere. But I mean, if you live anywhere that's got little critters and bugs that can possibly get into your food overnight, yeah, you want to bring it into the tent with you, and then there's not that much room. It's going to be interesting to see how it performs in strong winds. I have my doubts, which doesn't mean it's not going to perform well, it just means I need to take it out again and put it through its paces. It was too protected here in the trees to really see. And the reason I am interested is that I'll zoom you out to a wider angle so I can show you this concern I have. So I might be talking nonsense, but to me there's a lot of surface area and not a lot of pegs holding the tent in. So you've got these 2 down the end there and this one and these 2 on this side. So if the wind was coming from this direction, I think you'd be okay. But if it was coming from that direction, you've only really got those 2 little pegs at the front and these 2 guy lines. Holding all the weight of that wind pushing from that direction. And once the wind, it's going to be hard to talk. It's going to be hard for you to hear me when I go down there, but I think if the wind was coming from that direction, it's almost going to concertina the tent, because that's sort of, it's designed to kind of fold up like that. So I don't know, maybe because it's a tunnel design, the wind just tunnels over, I'm not sure, but to me, these bits that are sticking out here will catch the wind surely. I don't know. I'm going to have to try it again in heavy wind, obviously. I definitely would be concerned about having it in snow, because you put some weight on here, it's just going to sit. In all honesty, I'm probably just a tunnel tent skeptic because I've never owned one before. So stick around. I'll take this tent out again, and I will actually deliberately go somewhere when it's windy. I usually try not to go places when it's windy, but I will go somewhere that is windy, and I don't think it necessarily needs to be rainy again, because I can tell this tent is very waterproof. But I'm just not so sure about how it will perform in the wind. One of the things that I'll probably do is get some extra guy lines, because if you put another guy line on there and pull it in the perpendicular direction, you're going to create a whole lot more strength. But it's a well-made tent from what I can see. It's got reinforced stitching on these corner points. Good seam sealing. 100% sure about how strong these tie-off points are going to be where it attaches to the tent. There seems like a lot of tension on there. But as I say, if I put another guy line on there in the other direction, you probably don't need to have quite so much tension pulling on those parts, especially if it was windy. If you've got a lot of good structural integrity, it's not going to pull so much. Looking fine. I was wondering how high it would have come overnight with the rain. But I also knew there wasn't going to be that much rain. It's not a huge catchment area and there wasn't a lot of rain, so the river level's comparable to yesterday. So last night I was unsure about this little gadget and whether it was working or not, and I can officially say it definitely works. This morning when I got up there were so many sandflies around, and now there are some but not many. And the real test was last night when I got into the tent. You know how sandflies collect on the inside of the fly? I had a whole bunch, like maybe 40, inside the vestibule attached to the top of the fly, and so I hung this right there by them and they all but disappeared. Like maybe there was one hanging around. So it definitely works. Obviously it's not going to work when you're like 3, 4, 5 meters away from camp, but it seems to be that in the local area it really does work. So fantastic. The sandflies really annoy me. I'm going to start getting packed up. Yeah, I'm going to start getting packed up. I didn't bring any breakfast with me. I'm not usually a breakfast eater unless I'm doing a humongous day's work. And this is just a nice meander out, isn't it? We've got about, it's hard to know how long it took me yesterday because I stopped and started and had a swim, but I would say I could probably get back to the car within 1 hour. So I'm going to get packed up and hit the road. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is I have to change into my shorts because I realised I didn't bring spare clothes to drive home in. I always bring spare clothes to drive home in for this reason, that sometimes you're walking out and you get muddy or you get wet. And if I walk out in these pants, they will get very wet with the river crossings. So I'm going to have to get back into my wet, cold shorts. Good thing it's summertime, hey? Alright, Miss Indi, I'm going to have to get you to hop out with these soon. One of the things that my Expert Venus tent has that I really like, it's a great feature, is in the receiver where the end of the pole goes into, there's a tensioning cord. So you can untension it, easily put the end of the pole into the receiver, and then tension it up to get a nice tight pitch to your tent. The Openvista just has receivers on either side and you can't adjust the tension. So I imagine if it's really cold and your hands are not working very well and you're trying desperately to tension to get the pole in, that could be a bit challenging. I didn't find it difficult last night. I did the first time I put it up in my backyard, but then I probably was in a bit of a hurry. So maybe I'm making a big deal about nothing, but one thing that I would change if I was Pomoly is I would put tensioning straps on those receivers so it's not so difficult to try and get the pole in. It's also going to reduce the amount of bending of the pole, because that's what happened to mine. I ended up bending them trying to get them in. Right, well, we're packed up and ready to go. Can you come say goodbye? Before Indi and I say goodbye to you guys, we first of all want to say a really big thank you. We've got a couple of people that we especially want to thank. Sunny Days and Deb and Jane. Thank you so much, you guys. You are my first 3 Adventure OT YouTube members. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested, the rest of you are interested in channel membership, you can check that out by clicking on the join button. It'll tell you what it's about and what you get in return. Thank you so much to those of you that have left me a donation through YouTube. Super thanks. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I know I said a big thank you to my Buy Me a Coffee members and donors yesterday, but I don't want to leave you guys out in this thank you, so thank you very, very much. If you're interested in Buy Me a Coffee, like what's the difference between a Buy Me a Coffee membership versus a channel membership, just have a look at the pages and it tells you what that's about. If you guys are interested in any of the gear that I was trying out today, I'll put some links in the description. As you know, I'm not a gear review channel. I am happy to try out things and tell you what I think, but I would encourage you to go onto those websites and have a look at the gear, check it out fully. Don't trust me 100%. Big thank you to those of you that leave me lovely comments. I really appreciate it. Adventure OT is building a beautiful community of really lovely like-minded people, and it's lovely to hear from you guys. So if you feel like dropping us a comment, I always reply to comments. There might come a time when that's not possible, but for now I'm doing my best. So yeah, stop and say hi if you want to, and keep an eye out. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so that you know when we are out and about again. Schools go back in about a week's time, which means I'm a little bit more available and I can get out a bit more. So yeah, keep your eye out for our next video. Thanks for joining Indi and I. Indi, you gonna come say goodbye? Come. Turn around. Indi says thank you too, and we will see you guys on the next adventure. Bye for now, everyone. Right. Let's go. You ready to go home?